It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
At Rolls Rolo, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
All right, it's the Pete Sousa Show. We are back, and we are back in our Waco studios, which is a very, very good feeling. It's been a long time, feels like too long, and it's good to be back here and good to feel rooted, as some of our favorite yogis will say. We come on the air with breaking news and bad news. First of all, Kevin Borba from Locked On Buffs. Nobody knows the Deion Sanders beat better than Kevin. He's going to join us in a little bit to talk about the possibility of Deion leaving Colorado and ending up in Dallas with the Cowboys. Of course, we're presented by Slovacics. We are also presented by Crawford Austin Properties, D1, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyer, Sikora Family Ford. Thanks to all those guys for making this happen. And we're really looking forward to talking with Kev here just in a little bit. We can open up With the bad news, that Bob Uecker passed away, 90 years of age. It's one of those things too you take for granted. I thought Bob Uecker was going to live forever because anytime you heard anybody talk about him recently, and anytime you saw him interviewed, he was like in mint condition, or it seemed like he was. But obviously, get older, your health declines. So we're going to talk a little bit about Uecker. The most recent thing we can talk to you about as far as the Cowboys search is concerned, and as far as Deion Sanders is concerned, Ed Werder has confirmed, or not confirmed, he has reported that if Deion Sanders was offered the job, he would accept it, and that Jerry Jones is extremely enthusiastic about the opportunity to maybe hire Deion Sanders. So this thing is really gaining steam. We talked a little bit about Deion with Matt Mosley earlier in the week. Mosley and Werder host the Doomsday podcast here on Rogue Media. And Mosley felt like the Deion thing was a little bit more of a play by Jerry Jones, not only to get a lot of attention on this job situation, not like you need any more, but that's just like, I don't think that Jerry Jones would do that as far as like, hey, we're lacking interest, let us drum some up. With this scenario, I think that it was also very possible that he's interested, and with that interest comes a lot of fanfare. I from a content standpoint, there'd be nothing better than Deion Sanders joining up with Jerry Jones, the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It's so surreal. I can't even imagine that it would happen. Let me look here, check in with my boy Borba, just because I want to make sure. Okay. He should be hopping on soon here in a little bit. But the reports that they're also, here's the good news. That could be bad news for Cowboys fans, right? That's like, it's interesting news for people that cover the sport. It's a lot of fun for like hardcore Deion fans. Overall, I think it's like a little bit of a disappointment for Cowboys fans. I feel like now that Mike McCarthy's gone, there's no more adults left in the room. And I think that that's something that could be an issue around the Cowboys. And I think that could be an issue for everyone pretty much when you think about if you're a hardcore Cowboys fan. This could be something that's freaking you out a little bit. All right, we got Borba with us now. All right, can you turn his volume up so I can hear him? Kev!
How we doing?
Oh, my man. There you go. Straight from Quinnipiac, right on the air, baby.
Of course.
So are you? So you're out there now. I don't know. I appreciate you're on the West Coast in the Fresno area, so I appreciate you getting up and joining us. I want to ask you a question about Can we get him up there? There we go. Can you see me, Kev?
Yep.
All right. So you see me, Scotty. You stay up there if that's something we need to do logistically. That's our producer, Scotty. So,
hi, Scotty.
Scotty and I were just talking, and Scotty might jump in and ask you a question too at some point. But, Ed Werder reports that Deion Sanders, if he is offered the job, he would take it, and that he is very enthusiastic about, or Jerry Jones is enthusiastic about this opportunity. I'm hearing it all on the North Texas, the Dallas, end of it, and the national end. Your boots on the ground as far as covering the situation in Boulder and Colorado football. What are you hearing, Kev?
Yeah, I've been told and I've been hearing that there's a contract offer on the table for Deion Sanders, and Joel Klatt said himself it's very, very, he threw in a third very good. And so it's one of those things where I just don't know if Deion Sanders, I think it's just a decision of what he wants to do at this point, right? I don't think it's a money thing.
Real quick, let me clear this up. So the contract is that a new contract by Colorado?
Yes, a new contract by Colorado that would keep him in Boulder for the foreseeable future. Obviously, he had a great year this past season, going 9-4, their first 9-win season since 2016. They made their first bowl game since 2020. And I think it really just comes down to what Deion Sanders is more interested in. And although he's kind of been saying he has no NFL interest for 2 years now, I think we've learned that coaches often say they don't have interest in the job, and then they're gonna do whatever they feels right.
In your opinion, and again, there's only so much. You're a legit journalist. There's almost so much reporting we can do. I feel like we're almost up to speed with what's going on at this moment. but as far as what you've gleaned about, covering Dion for as long as you have, in that kind of microwave of a coaching situation for him, what do you think the interest is as far as, is it any job in the NFL or is it this job?
That's a great question. I think there were probably two jobs that he was interested in, one of them being the Raiders. Obviously, his people sent out feelers for that one. I think there's two reasons for him to be interested. The first one, the Raiders, like I said, it was because he had a chance to coach his son, right? The Raiders have the 6th pick. It's very more manageable for them to move up and trade for Shador if possible. The Dallas Cowboys, and I talked about this on my show as well, the Dallas Cowboys is one of the biggest jobs in American sports, right? We view the star as arguably the biggest brand in American sports. And I think his ties with Jerry Sanders, he won a Super Bowl with the team back in, I think it was 96. I just think it's kind of the brand and the recognition, right? I don't think there's like I don't think he'd take the Cleveland Browns job. I don't think he'd be taking the Jacksonville Jaguars job if offered. I think it's because it's the Dallas Cowboys. It's the biggest job in the NFL. He's with Jerry Jones. It'd be a spectacle. I think it's just a matter of, it's a huge job, and I think anyone who would be offered that job would listen. I think Scotty would take a listen if offered, right, Scotty?
Scotty would definitely listen.
I would definitely listen and decline for the good of my team. Yeah.
There we go.
He's a Cowboys fan. He knows better. Yo, Kev, and it's funny, by the way. I was out in Tempe. I called the Arizona State UCF game the other night. But you know what I thought? Because you mentioned that 96 Super Bowl. I was like right by Sun Devil Stadium. I was like, God damn, this is the last place the Cowboys won a Super Bowl.
Right.
So, almost 30 years ago. That was at Sun Devil Stadium. It wasn't in Glendale at one of those big ones. It was at, a big college stadium. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah. I wasn't born.
Where did Shiloh and Shador come into this whole deal?
Yeah, I think this is where it gets confusing, right? Because Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show and said the Cowboys aren't trading Dak Prescott. And so it was already complicated before. I had looked into it, and if they were to trade Dak Prescott, they'd have like $104 million hard cap hit. They have the 12th pick, which for outside of that one anonymous scout who says Shador is not a first-round pick, he's probably going to the top 5, right? And so the Dallas Cowboys really they're binded with Dak Prescott. They don't have the pick to get Shador. And so if Deion Sanders takes the Dallas Cowboys job, he's taking it solely because he wants to coach in the NFL. He could probably get Shiloh because Shiloh's honestly a late round flyer, probably an undrafted free agent. And I think he'd probably be the easier one of the two to get. Whereas Shador, obviously it just comes down to you're probably going to play against him, and maybe he could sign in free agency somewhere down the line. But again, it really just comes down to, does Deion Sanders want to coach in the NFL? And if he does, so with the Dallas Cowboys, he's not going to coach both of his sons.
What is the feel out there in Boulder? Because what he's built is really, really cool from a national lens. And obviously for you, I mean, it's good for business, right? For all of us. I do a ton of stuff with the Big 12. That was one of the first things I talked about last week when this was really becoming a reality, that he could take this job. It's not great for the Big 12. It's not great for Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
What's the feeling around the university? Like if Deion were to leave, where does Colorado go?
Yeah, I think, the timing of it would really hurt the program, right? The transfer portal saga has kind of come and gone. There's still guys out there, but Colorado's players would all have I think it's a 30-day window to enter the portal. So you'd probably see your roster ravaged. I don't really know where you go in January for a head coach. You probably have to look within and hope that maybe the players would play for the defensive coordinator, Robert Livingston, who had a really big year, and just hope that you retain some guys. But if you're Colorado, you're losing things on the field and off the field. And I'll kind of run you through a list of like what Coach Prime did for Colorado. In 2023, they had $113 million brought into the local economy. They had the most watched bowl game outside of the college football playoff. Before he got to Colorado, they had 19 wins across 5 seasons. He's at 13 in 2 years. He had their highest AP ranking since 2016, second time they finished ranked in the college football playoff. And then he signed 3 of their top 6 highest ranked recruits in program history, including their highest ranked quarterback in program history. And I think aside from losing a really good coach who knows a lot about football and has put a lot of people around him to help mask his flaws as a coach.
And is perfect for the NIL era. Is
right.
just Perfect.
Exactly. You're losing someone who generates interest in your program, right? Colorado, and this isn't a hot take by any means. Before Deion Sanders was there, Colorado was a afterthought of a college football program. When I worked at the Pac-12 networks, 99% of their games were on the Pac-12 networks, which is not always a great thing if you're trying to get exposure, right? Not everyone had that channel, although we all worked hard, of course. And Colorado was just sort of this program where it's like, oh yeah, there's that program. Like recruits in Florida who he's targeting now, I don't think most of them knew where Colorado was on the map, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to Colorado now. Okay, sure. So you're losing someone who attracts top talent. You're losing someone who attracts all of the media attention. And I think you're really losing a unique program in college football because he made a non-traditional program a powerhouse talking point. It's not a powerhouse program yet, but he made it a powerhouse talking point. We have people talking about it nonstop. ESPN First Take was there. Fox Big Noon Kickoff was there like every week, it felt like. So you're losing all of that. And I think that's pretty tough for a program to lose after 2 years. And the timing would make it even worse because their options would be very limited. And regardless of what you do, you're not going to bring in someone who had the same magnitude that Deion Sanders did.
On the other side of that, if he gets offered the job or this kind of dance continues with he and Jerry Jones, but he ends up going back to Colorado, I would imagine that's almost even more helpful for the recruiting situation. Like, look, I stayed here. And second of all, you know, I am being kicked around for some of the biggest jobs in all of football.
Yep.
I don't think that hurts the Deion and Colorado brand at all if he were to stay.
Yeah, I think I can see both ways. There's the pessimist in me says, I think him flirting with these jobs kind of shows that he's willing to leave, right? He sent out feelers for the Raiders job. Ed Warner, as you reported, said he would accept the Cowboys job. So I think if you're a recruit, it is cool to see that he chose you. Like, it's cool for this team right now if he chooses them. For future recruits, I'd be a little concerned that, hey, at any moment he'd be willing to jump to the NFL. I think that's just like the future concerns from my end, at least, because the pessimist in me goes, okay, he said for 2 years now there was no interest in coaching the NFL, and then all of a sudden when our offer started coming in and jobs started opening, he was like, maybe I am interested. So I think I can see both ways. I think, like I said, for this roster, I think that's motivation. It's like, okay, Coach Prime chose us over the Dallas Cowboys, but if you don't think those coaches at Florida State, Miami, and all these programs that negatively recruit against Colorado already aren't going to use that to their advantage, they certainly will. They're going to be like, next time that job opens, he's going to hop to the NFL.
That's a great point, dude. That's a great point. So it may not help as far as that negative recruiting. Scotty, what do you got?
I was going to say, but Kevin, I'm under the impression, and I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, so I have that bias, but I don't know that Deion's interested in the NFL as much as it's just this job, right? Like going back to Dallas, working for Jerry Jones, who he has a good relationship with. So I wonder how easy that would be for him to spin it. My question for you is, as someone who's there around the program, there's a lot of talk around here in Texas that is just asking the question, does his style of coaching translate to the NFL, to grown men, you know, in their 30s in the locker room rather than 18-year-olds? What would be your perspective on that?
I think it's a really interesting question. I don't know. I honestly thought he was perfect for the college game because he's done what all of those guys want to do, right? He's made it to the NFL. He's played at the highest level, and he's very motivational. He's very inspiring. I think as we saw with Jimmy Horn Jr., he's the receiver whose father was incarcerated. Coach Prime kind of took like a father figure role. Same thing with Travis Hunter, took a father figure role. When you get to the NFL, those guys are there to cash checks. They're there to chase Super Bowls and to add to their legacy if possible. Like, they do not want to be hoorah, let's do this all the time. Like, they are there, it's a business. And so I think it would work if they were winning, right? If they lose, I don't know how long you keep the locker room, because I don't think anyone in the NFL keeps the locker room for that long if you start losing, right? I think the NFL is a very much like, we need to win or you need to get out sort of business. And I think with the Dallas Cowboys job in particular, and this was my whole reasoning for him not taking the job, is Jerry Jones going to let him be Coach Prime? Is Jerry Jones going to let him sell his merch? Is Jerry Jones going to let him have his son and the other camera crews that have around him all the time? Is he going to let that happen? If he does, then there's no problem. But I feel like Jerry Jones, as we saw on his radio show, enjoys being the spotlight. And so is he going to want another sort of entity competing with him within his own team? I don't know.
Yo, Kev, what are they saying on the message boards? Like, I know you get a lot of that.
Yeah.
You have a real feel for what people are saying. What's the vibe?
They're getting to the edge right there. Pete, we got people going, you know what? If he wants to leave, just leave. And then there's some people who are like, make him the highest paid coach in college football, which I said this on my show, and I flirted with the idea of it because a lot of people have been saying pay him whatever he wants. And I hate to break it to people. I don't think Deion Sanders really needs money. I'm not really keyed in on his financial situation, but I would assume he's fine. Right. So he has a TV show. He's been a professional athlete forever, played 2 sports. But I think people and Colorado fans, they want to know that Colorado did everything they can to make it happen. Right. So, and I said this, if you're Colorado, you can't leave any stone unturned. You make him the highest paid coach. You name a mountain after him, whatever. People are feeling a little bit desperate. It's a little bit scary out there in Boulder because he said multiple times, I don't want to go to the NFL. I have a kickstand here down in Colorado. I don't want to follow my sons. I'm my own man. And all of a sudden it's like the Dallas Cowboys job comes knocking, and it's like everything he said has kind of gone out the window. So it's like, okay, if you're Colorado, I think you're getting those PTSD flashbacks of Carl Durrell going 1-11, where it's like, oh my gosh, we're like a signed contract away from this happening again.
Let me ask you a question, random. Is Deion single? I know he was with Tracy Edmonds and they separated. Is he like, is it reported that he's with anybody? What do you know, Kev?
I don't know the dating status of Coach Prime. I feel like he keeps that very close to the vest, but yeah, I think that could be another thing. Maybe the single man in him is ready for a new challenge. Maybe he's ready for.
You don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm
no.
saying like Deion's gonna. You go. The family goes wherever he goes. But I know he was with Tracy Edmonds. I don't think they're together anymore. You got anything on this, Scotty?
Pete, I'm going to be honest with you. Keeping up with celebrity dating game is not my favorite.
It's tough. It's tough because I feel like every time people get invested, they break up, and then you have thousands of fans who are devastated.
Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Yeah, you want to talk about that all the time, don't you?
Well, they got engaged, and I like them. So.
She needs to get back to the Euphoria show. All right, anything else you got for us, Borber? You're the man for taking time.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. You guys can find me over at Locked On Buffs. I'm covering the entire Deion saga, right? I think it's very fluid. I think it's ongoing, as we're going to talk about it for days to come. And I think I'll leave on this note. The only way to know if Deion Sanders is going to stay or not is when we find out who the Dallas Cowboys hire. And I think after that, all the jobs that he would be intrigued in are closed, and we'll just see if we do this dance again next year.
Kev, what's going to happen? Is when this search is over, is he the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys, or is he still with Colorado?
I don't think so. I think, can Scotty attest to this for me, Scotty? Do the Dallas Cowboys want to win now?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think bringing in Deion Sanders is like, I feel like that's a sign of a rebuild for me, right? You're bringing in a coach who's never coached in the NFL, and people always come at me for saying he played in the NFL. It's very different. He also played in the NFL 20 years ago, right? So things have changed, and I think he's at Colorado. I really do. I don't see why the Cowboys would want to take a chance on a college football coach who, mind you, he coached at the Power 4 level for 2 years now. We've seen guys like Urban Meyer, Matt Rule, Nick Saban, of all people. They have not worked out in the NFL. So if Jerry Jones wants to take that risk, then by all means do it. But I don't think it happens this year.
Scotty, you got one more question? You good?
No, that's good. Thanks, Kevin.
Borber, you're the man, dude. Anytime you need me, you holler. I appreciate you, dude.
Thanks for having me, guys. Later.
That was our boy Kevin Borber from Locked On Buffs. What'd you think? A little reaction? He's the man.
That was good. That was good. Yeah. Appreciate that insight. No, I wonder, like, so Kevin, the problem is he was using good logic, and we don't always trust Jerry Jones to share that between the years. Like Jerry Jones' reasoning and rationale for anything is not something that makes sense to most people, typically.
Yeah, even like we'll hear from Mosley soon, I'm sure, but like even Matt, like, you know, he has like a master's degree in the psychology or the insanity of Jerry Jones, and even he was like, I think this is more smoke and mirrors. So we'll find out, dude.
Yeah, well, that's why Ed's tweet today shocked me so much. Ed Werder's tweet that said Deion is ready to take this job. Like I was, whoa, like I just didn't expect the ramp up. And Pete, that could be 100% Deion giving Ed that.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
just to
pump it up.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, we'll be back. Want to talk about Bob Uecker pay tribute to a legend.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock your full potential with Onnit, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, Onnit has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
The show continues to roll on. Coaching talk everywhere is percolating. So Jonathan Jones, right, with CBS Sports, he just tweets moments ago, Bill Belichick does not have a signed contract at UNC, which is not uncommon in college, but does introduce gray areas as to how much, if any, of the $10 million buyout would be paid should he vote for the NFL. I'll read that one more time. This is CBS Sports' Jonathan Jones. Belichick, basically, he's saying, does not have a signed contract at North Carolina. It's not uncommon, but it does introduce a gray area as to how much, if any, of the $10 million buyout would be paid should he vote for the NFL. Now, the reason I'm reading this is because North Carolina's general manager of the football program, Michael Lombardi, tweets back at Jonathan Jones immediately. Bill is recruiting in D.C. today and Baltimore tomorrow. His focus is on North Carolina football, hiring staff members, and developing a team. The NFL isn't an option, so please stop making it one. Thank you. So, and I'll give this guy Jonathan Jones a little bit more juice, because Jonathan Jones, he's got quite the following. Good journalist, HBO Real Sports, CBS Sports. But he is a North Carolina guy. Reported for North Carolina. He reported in Durham for a while. I think it was Durham, as I remember. The Observer. The Charlotte Observer. Yeah, is who he reported for, and the Daily Tar Heel too. Obviously, like, there's so much crap going on today. And Scotty, you just said, talking more about Deion, that Ed Werder reported that Jason Witten would be a member of that staff.
Yeah, about 12 minutes ago, Ed Werder put out another tweet. He's just on a roll today saying
Rogue Media's Ed Werder.
That's
Check
right.
out the Doomsday
Pod. Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
They might get Zach Burke on late tonight to record a
Zach, if I were you, Zach's in the room. I'd be drinking my coffee, dude, once it hits like 8 o'clock every night.
Yeah.
Zach is now, we're looking for the bat signal, waiting on the Cowboy Star put up into the sky. Mosley and Werder will be taping an emergency Doomsday, so be on the lookout for that if something does happen.
No, but he said, he said very high probability. And again, Matt Mosley, I think, told us this earlier this week as well, that Jerry would really like to hire Witten, maybe even as the head guy, but he needs that NFL experience first. And so bringing him in on the offensive staff for whoever might be the head coach, and essentially giving him a Jason Garrett role where he's not the coach in waiting, but he's the coach in waiting. Yeah. And that wouldn't surprise anybody.
Man, I mean,
and I'll just tell you, I told you this earlier this week, I think, as a Cowboys fan, I love that because I think Witten's legit.
So I will tell you this. I think that this is all moving towards like a Pete Carroll or a John Gruden.
Yep.
Or maybe even a Kellen Moore, but a little bit more of a stable head coach. Because if you're Kellen Moore, maybe you're a little less likely to hire Jason Witten.
Yeah, I cannot see him wanting to do that. Yeah. Especially because that's what's being broadcast, right?
Yeah, but also like I think you have to be secure in yourself.
Sure.
Like, I think if you're Kellen Moore and you're negotiating with Jerry Jones, if everything goes in a direction where you might be the next head coach, you got to negotiate. Like, this dude is not the head coach in waiting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be.
That's why I'm saying I don't think it would happen, because I don't think a Kellen Moore or even a Deion Sanders is going to go to the Cowboys if that's a stipulation. Whereas, as you just said a second ago, a John Gruden, Pete Carroll, guys who are older, I don't want to say how long any of those guys could coach, but you would think it's not as long as Kellen Moore, right?
Yeah. What's Jason Witten want that situation for? Why does he want to be that doesn't seem like Jason Witten to be a coach in waiting, crowbarred into being a coach in waiting. I don't think he'd want that.
I don't claim to know Jason Witten personally or for how he thinks, but when I think of Jason Witten, I think of the greatest Dallas Cowboy of all time in a lot of respects in terms of statistics, games played, all of these things.
Wow.
He is a Dallas Cowboy. I mean,
that was a hot take from Scotty.
He's played the most games of any Dallas Cowboy.
That's
he
has
the most receptions in team history.
So the best Cowboy of all time.
I think in some respects, yes. He's Mr. Dallas Cowboy. I think in some respects, yes.
Better than Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman.
I said he's played more games than those guys in a Dallas Cowboy uniform, more games than anybody in a Dallas Cowboy uniform. He has the most receptions in team history.
It's tough to argue those two stats, but
he is a significant cornerstone player in the history.
I'll agree with that.
I think of that first when I think of Jason. Second thing I think of is his flame out on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, which was a huge deal, which was really difficult for him.
And that sucked. I'll just tell you, as a fan, that sucked to watch because I love him. And he clearly has the mind for it, but didn't have the in front of the camera. Broadcasting's hard. You know that better than anybody.
If they want to put me, I am a broadcaster, and my first job in like a studio setting, I was atrocious. And I had
it's hard.
It's
especially
tough.
if you've never done it. You're coming straight off a playing career like he did, right? The guys that make it look easy are that talented. That's the
Yeah.
moral of the story.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll just say, what does he do after that? Pete, he's coaching high school football in Texas.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to be around the game. He loves the game. Like, he's going to keep coaching. And so for the opportunity to say, hey, come in the building, there's no pressure on you right away because you're not going to be the head coach, but let's see how you can do at this level. I assume he'll do well. I assume he'll connect with players well and coach well. And then, yeah, for him, it's kind of like what I said with Dion with Kevin. I don't know that Jason Witten is going to line up to go be the head coach or a coach in the NFL anywhere, but he's Mr. Dallas Cowboy.
Well, what about, can you read that tweet one more time? The Werder tweet, if you don't mind?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Yeah, Scotty pulls that up because I'm just curious to get this one more because I think this is revealing here. Go ahead.
I'm pulling it up. Sorry.
Okay.
I should have had it ready to go.
I know you shouldn't have. Stop it.
I was waxing poetic.
Well, everybody's still
Jason,
picking themselves off the ground.
This doesn't help. We're having this conversation.
Jason Witten being the greatest cowboy of all time. Go ahead.
No, we're having this conversation a day after Zach and I recorded a Texas Hall of Fame podcast, and I waxed poetic yesterday on that show about how Jason Witten might be the best cowboy of all time. But I digress. Here's what Ed Warder said. This is the tweet. I'll read it verbatim. I believe there's a very high probability that depending upon whom is hired as head coach, Jason Witten will be included in the staff. There were scenarios discussed with Mike McCarthy when he was hired where that could have happened, but McCarthy was understandably concerned.
Yeah.
Perhaps remembering how Wade Phillips inherited Jason Garrett, who eventually replaced him.
Huh. Okay. Man, I can't believe it. As a Cowboys fan, how scared are you that they might hire Dion? Truly.
That would be better. Listen,
I put words in your mouth, but are you?
not,
how do you feel about it?
Dion would thrill me because it's trying something different. It's a swing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big swing, and it might be a big miss, but at least Jerry's taking a big swing. Well, I said this before we came in here for the show. What would just make me groan and throw my fist in the air angry would be Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera is a really good NFL coach.
Yeah.
But, like, why didn't we keep Mike McCarthy if we're going to keep the old established, somewhat successful, like B-tier NFL guy? Like, no, I want to take a swing. So whether it's Kellen Moore, first time head coach, but great OC, that's a swing that I like. If it's Dion, the dynamic college, that's a swing. I love it. If it's Witten, I don't think most of us don't think he's going to be the head coach, but if it was, that's a swing. I love it. I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
But you guys had 3 years where you won 12 straight games. So I would think if you were to reintroduce like a stable force.
But I'm 32 and I don't consciously remember watching the Cowboys win a Super Bowl.
How about that, by the way?
Even though it happened in my lifetime.
When I was at Arizona State, I did like a little trail walk or whatever, and I was walking by Sun Devil Stadium, and I'm big on history and stuff like that. And I was thinking about all the stuff that's happened there, and I was like, holy shit, that's where the Cowboys won their Super Bowl. And like, that's sort of like, look, man, it's kind of a dumpy old college stadium. But the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, they were playing Super Bowls in stadiums like that.
I was 3 years old.
Isn't that nuts?
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's been that long.
Well, and that's what, so you say, oh, McCarthy won 12 games. But dude, it was like, it's letting Kellen Moore go to say you're going to call the offense, and the offense gets worse. It's like it's just, McCarthy's notoriously a bad game manager late in games. And
what do you think Deion Sanders is going to do? Like, how do you think that clock management looks like? That's my one thing. Because that's my one. Man,
Pete, you went from being all about Deion to
well, that's my big concern.
Asking questions quick.
That's my big concern about Deion if I'm a Cowboys fan. Like, how is he going to manage the clock?
I have no idea.
Yeah. And that's
but it's a
swing.
But it's a swing.
It is a swing.
But to answer your question about 12 games, listen.
What if Deion goes to the Cowboys?
We did this dance with Wade Phillips. We did this dance with Jason Garrett.
Nobody
We've done
needs
it
to see
with
Wade
Mike
Phillips
McCarthy. We've done it with Tony Romo. We've done it with Dak Prescott. Nobody cares what happens in the regular season if we go out in the first round every single year.
By the way,
nobody cares.
I'm not trying to get you more riled up. We're going to go to Bob Uecker after this. What is this? What anniversary is it today?
So it was yesterday. It was a tweet I saw from yesterday that said this is the 8th anniversary of Dak Prescott first playoff game where he dueled against prime Aaron Rodgers. And I looked at you and I said, this pisses me off because I am that Cowboys fan
Yeah.
that will stand by it till the day I die. Tony Romo comes off of injury and wins that football game.
That's a great take.
And it would have been the coolest story.
Yeah.
It would have been the coolest story.
Because Romo hurt his shoulder in the preseason.
So
So like, and so he had a clean bill of health at that point in time.
So he was out the whole season.
Yeah.
Pete, I cried watching this football game. He came back in the last week and played the second half.
Yeah.
In their final game of the regular season. They'd locked up their playoff spot.
Did he play well? He played well.
He
right?
did. He threw
Yeah.
2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
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 One to Terrence Williams, Baylor Bear.
Yeah.
And I cried because I was like, this is the last time I'm going to get to watch my favorite guy play football. And then going into the play, but he played so well. I was like, start him. And listen, they probably made the logical coaching decision, not the irrational fan decision to stick with
Jason
Dak.
Garrett too, right?
It was, to stick with Dak. But the fan of me was like,
Yeah.
let this guy, and especially because we all like,
What was the score of that
golly.
game? Was it close?
yeah, Cowboys. Dak played very well, actually. So the loss was not on him, but I think Cowboys lost that game by 3. Yeah.
And then the next week, Rodgers, I think, had that huge game against Atlanta.
I don't remember, to be
Okay.
honest with you.
Yeah.
I probably was crying myself to sleep every night. Pete.
Oh man,
Oh,
Scotty.
dude, I've got so many Cowboy. Dude, you're getting me in my feels.
All right. Let's get to Bob Uecker.
Back to the feels.
We will continue to up.
Now, here's something. Just came to mind as you were telling me this story. And we can't fill in the particulars. But if your friends show up in the booth,
Yeah.
somebody you like, somebody you trust,
Yes.
right? You've been known to do parallel broadcasts.
You were part of it.
Yes, I was. Use the cough button. So now it's, so here's Joe Jones, utility infielder hitting 262. Then you hit the cough button and offer some ridiculous, often off-color assessment of the situation for the amusement of the people in the booth, then release the cough button in time for the next pitch. There was an art to this.
I do that when people who don't really know they're in the booth for the first time, right? And I can, push that button down. It's
So
right
they're
in front of
shocked.
me.
They think this is actually part of the broadcast.
Did you hear what he just said?
I remember one time I'm in the booth, and I would bring some friends sometimes just for the parallel show that's going on. And so I won't mention the name. It's like, so here's so and so, former MVP, popular with all the fans and ball players. Fat, overrated, bleepity, bleepity, bleep. Foul back to the screen.
The cough button is a godsend. It really is.
that if you're Jerry Jones, if you're Deion Sanders?
You can't dump Dak if you're the Cowboys. It just doesn't work financially.
No.
You're not going to get a trade partner. Like, nobody wants that contract. So you have made your bed with Dak, period. It's why before Werder's tweet today, I was pretty adamant Deion's not going to take this job because they're not going to have a way to get Shadur on that football team. So I would still say after all this conversation today, I'm kind of with Borba. I'd be shocked, I think, still if Deion's the guy. And that is one of the reasons why.
There was one other thing I wanted to ask you, Cowboys related. I guess that's all. I had one more Cowboys question as we're coming up here, but I forget. I'll ask you when I remember.
Okay.
Sounds all good. Right. That's Scotty Swingler. I'm Pete Sousa. Thank you guys so much for joining.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Sports.
We are Rogue Media Sports.